Kyle here with Off-Road Pioneer, back for another video. So we had some interest in snorkels. I have built my own snorkel. We're going to take a look at it here in a bit. Let's talk about it a little bit. Why do we use snorkels? What are the added benefits? What are the negative benefits? So on the side-by-side, as you can tell, it's hidden quite well. Not too visible. Not many people actually notice it. On an ATV, being sticking right out the front of your bike, some ABS pipe and stuff, not the prettiest thing going, but there are snorkel tips you could buy and things along those lines to make it look better. So that's probably the only negative, is making the bike look modified. I know in some states you're not allowed to have snorkels even, but up here in Canada we don't have rules like that yet. So why I snorkeled it was because one day last year we were going through a water hole, one we've crossed, I don't know, dozens of times, right dear?
Yep.
And one time we were coming back the other way and put the right side on the low side of the hole, and yeah, locked her up right there in the hole. Had to pull her out, pull the spark plug, you know, do all that stuff, get it out to the trailhead, trailer it home. And did about 5 oil changes. It was like 250 bucks or something an oil change. So after doing that many oil changes, I had enough. And yeah, so the next year we snorkeled the bike. So let's take a look at the snorkel here now. And the reason we use a snorkel is to go deeper in the water and protect our engines. Alright, so there's our snorkel fork, folks. We'll get a good look at it here. We will talk more about it in depth later. So guys, here's my snorkel removed. So yeah, I built mine. I didn't buy it. Why did I build over buy? Because when I looked up buying one, I believe they're $189 Canadian. So, you know, it's quite expensive considering it's just what you're going to get is just plumbing pipe. So I think I spent $26 on all this. I did have the glue at home though. Let's go over the parts and what I'll do different. So down here, we're going to hold it upside down, folks. This is where I started. This is actually the stock air intake pipe. I recommend not using this, to be honest with you. If you look at it, it's really thin at the bottom and really thick at the top. Not manufactured great. I do believe I get a small leak there. As you can see, I've siliconed it. And then from there, I just went to a 2-inch rubber coupler. Nothing fancy, couple hose clamps, rubber coupler. Into a nice straight section. I bought one 6-foot section of pipe. That was it. From there, I go down into a 45, into a little piece of straight, just was short enough so I could join them. Into a 22.5, and then I go with a nice straight section that's probably about 15 inches. Into a 90. Straight into a 45, so I have just a big enough piece in there to join the two. From the 45 into about a 6-inch piece, into another 90, up into a 22.5. All three of these are they're tight, like there's just enough in there to make them seal. Into a 45, if I haven't said the 45, I might have got lost there. And then just straight, right there up to the top. And when you get to the top, guys, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. I have that. I have another small piece here. This gives me a little angle, gets it out of the dirt a bit more, I hope. You could put a snorkel tip, you could do whatever. There's fancy light it snorkel tips out there. But for like $26 versus 150 bucks, I was able to snorkel my bike. That is why I went and did it myself. You get a lot of people like ATVs, they give you a bracket for coming up through the fender and stuff, but to be honest with you guys, you can make that yourself. Doesn't have to be hard. Other things you should do while snorkeling your bike. An ATV, I recommend a rad relocate because you don't want it in the mud and water when everything else is out of it. You definitely have to move your vent lines. The most common vent lines that every bike should have are front diff, rear diff, fuel tank, fan, and crankcase. Well, make sure you move them all up with the intake too, right guys? It's no good. Some bikes, it's even recommended to snorkel the exhaust. And other snorkels that will be required on other brands of bikes. Your CV clutch has an air intake and an exhaust if you ride, I guess, pretty much any other bike besides Honda. Make sure you snorkel those. Make sure you seal everything real good. You got to seal the the air box lid. Other things you should do is open all your electrical connectors and smear them in dielectric grease so that it helps keep the water outside of the connector. Definitely make sure if your ECM's in a bad place and you're worried about it, maybe get it relocated. I don't know guys, if you're going to play in the water, you pay to play, right? So snorkel your bike, try to save the engine the best you can, but you may come across other problems. If you do all these little things, you are going to have as little problems as you can. But as I said, you pay to play. Now, this is Kyle with Off-Road Pioneer. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a nice day.